When you first went on the beach as a kid, you never picked up anything metal. Never. Because it could be a bit of a mine sticking up. I mean, in theory, we didn't need an outside bathing pool because we got the beach. But it was much more civilised in a way. And I think it was designed probably to be more sort of continental.
I practiced my swimming there to start with when we used to go in the harbour, and then used to practice. I learnt to really, I suppose I learnt my decent swimming there.
Yeah. To start with, we'd only been used to the sea, but the swimming baths on the seafront. And when you came in and saw that, it was a tremendous size. It was the size
lovely.
What took your eye.
It was beautiful. We didn't realise what we had. That was the problem.
When it was built, I mean, it was years ahead of its time, and I think it was great for the town to have something to shout about, a flag to wave, if you will, in respect of having one of the finest pools in Europe, as it must have been when it was built.
There was a spectators' gallery all the way around the big baths, and there were very, very frequent galas.
I was one of the best swimmers of my age group, and so I usually ended up doing all the races that it was possible, so I was quite knackered at the end of the evening, particularly if the temperature was cold, which invariably it was. And I remember that after the swimmers had competed, at the end, when we got dressed, we were given a free cup of Bovril, which we looked forward to enormously.
People complain about working long hours. I used to work from 8 in the morning to about 8 at night. But after that, I used to cycle along to quite frequently cycle along to the bathing pool and get in a session, cut an hour or two. It was good training because I played football on my half day, and it was good training.
In those days, you would go down and have a really hard training session with Miss Knowles, and there would be boys and girls working hard, and then she'd say, right, that's it, now go and have a good time. So everybody would go mad, and the boys would do bomb diving, yes. On one occasion, the Belgian Olympic team came over and competed against us at the bathing pool. At the given signal, I set off at my greatest rate and swam 3/4 of the length of the pool, thinking that everyone was cheering me on, instead of which they were trying to stop me because the Belgian girl hadn't started. So that was my only swim against an Olympic team, which was very sad.
Yeah, there was a girl called Barbara Bailey who was a specialist diver, and the first time she did a swallow dive off the 10-metre board, I was there actually watching at the time, and it took her quite a while to pluck up courage and get to the end. And she did this swallow dive eventually, and perfectly, and everybody in the pool clapped because I think everybody knew the courage that it took to do that. That was great, because it was pretty awesome, quite honestly, standing on that 10-metre board, and you knew that if you got the dive wrong, you were going to hurt yourself.
Well, the secret was being brave, but I'm a coward, so I never really enjoyed it, and I didn't do it very often.
Whether this is true or not, I don't know, but there was a rumour when we used to go there that a Frenchman dived off the top board and he tried to do 3 pikes, and he opened out in the last one and didn't get his head down and seriously injured himself. I didn't see it, but that's what people said had happened.
I can remember the night before war broke out. There was a big gala at the pool because, as you know, war started on a Sunday. And on that Saturday there was a big gala at the pool. The Highgate Diving Club were down and gave their usual brilliant show. And I dined out with one of the divers on the night before war broke out, so I shall never forget that. I can't remember his name, but he was terribly good looking.
There was a very growing trend to listen to traditional jazz. The jazz club had to move venues, and somehow they ended up at the bathing pool. was always amazed at the number of people that went. And funnily enough, it seemed so ridiculous to think you could have a jazz club underneath a swimming pool. But it was a terrific atmosphere, and it worked. And, you know, that's another string to the old bathing pool's bow.
I do remember noticing the boys and wondering if the boys would notice me, and really it was definitely a place to show off, and also just to sort of swank around along the, you know, walk around the terraces. That was the other thing, because you could walk right round it, and that was another thing they used to do, sort of show off their muscles a bit. There were always sort of glamorous ladies in fancy swimsuits, and it was pre-bikini times, so they used to wear the sort of very tight, strapless, slightly shiny ones. I do remember those.
Yeah, I did meet a girlfriend there actually. When I suppose my first real girlfriend. I don't remember how long we found ourselves racing one against the other, and we finished up leaning on the wall and laughing our heads off, I suppose. So we cycled home together, and that was it. We were sort of a couple, a pair, an item, or whatever they call it nowadays.
Memories of it are just going in, lovely summer's day, thinking better than going on in pebbles down the beach and on the sand, you know. But that is such a shame that it's gone. I think all they're anchoring for is to build some flats there or something.